It is 27 degrees Celsius in the studio. I don't have any makeup on, and this is going to be a one take. Today was just going to be a regular Thursday after yesterday's trip to pick up our new project electric car, a 2001 Honda Insight with an EV1 motor inside it. There's more on that coming. I'd planned to sit down at my desk after my usual morning workout. I was going to figure out a video for today and make one for tomorrow, and also begin work on the 20 or so hours of preparation it takes to make our Saturday morning roundup show, which actually gets produced every Friday. But the internet had other ideas, specifically Nikola Corporation. The week after its founder, Trevor Milton, left the company, taking a sizable potential fortune with him, just a few days after two separate allegations surfaced accusing Milton of sexual assault. And in the same week that Nikola's deal with GM is rumoured to be on rocky waters after GM straight up condemned, quote, sexual harassment and abuse of any kind, Nikola has begun to fight back. That's right. Nikola's stock jumped today after a rosy press release yesterday designed to get investors excited about its future timeline for vehicle production. And then its stock started to do weird things because Nikola cancelled the event it was due to hold to showcase the Nikola Badger. It blamed coronavirus. But today has just been a roller coaster, and for some reason, Nikola has begun issuing copyright takedown notices against YouTube channels which have been openly critical of the company. My inbox and my social media started to buzz early this morning as people reached out to tell me the news, and between then and now, I've spent time trying to fight fires and ensure that Transport Evolved as a channel is protected from the same fate, which translates to finding every single video that we've ever made that includes references to Nikola and modifying the video for reasons that will become blatantly apparent. So here, today, instead of a nice video about whatever it was that should have been on the Trello board this morning, I genuinely cannot remember, we've got this. A single-take video about how a company that's currently under investigation by the United States Department of Justice and the US Securities and Exchanges Commission is lashing out against those it deems its enemy. And you know what? It's all because of that video. You know the one showing a Nikola One truck, quote, in motion. The video that Nikola admitted after an expose by Stock Short Hindenburg Research was actually rolling down a hill powered nothing but gravity. And if you cannot tell, I am furious, I am mad, and I'm about to tell you what exactly has been going on and what we have had to do as a reaction to it, what our policy is going to be moving forwards, and because, yes, we are still going to have to cover this company in as an impartial a way as possible, we're just going to have to change some stuff. And yes, there is going to be no B-roll today, for reasons that will become blatantly apparent. You lucky people get to look at my ugly face for the entire video. Sorry. Before we get to Nikola though, let's have a little look at the ID content system that YouTube has, so I can explain, at least in some ways, what's been happening. It has been the bane of YouTubers for as long as I can remember, and I have been a YouTube creator now for more than a decade. The idea behind the Content ID system is that it provides content creators a way to ensure that nobody else steals their stuff. And while it does work in some ways, it is terribly, terribly broken, and it's regularly used by big corporations and massive petty people to enforce punitive penalties on people who are genuinely not breaching copyright because what they are doing falls under the various clauses of the law. And if you want to know more about how the copyright system on YouTube is the way it is, I actually recommend Tom Scott's excellent video on it right there. Go check it out. Usually, when someone gets a copyright notice, it takes the form of YouTube going, hey, someone's noticed that you're using their content and well, they would be really happy if you'd give them some of the ad revenue from that video as compensation. You have a chance to appeal that copyright notice and cite your reasons as to why that claim is wrong. If the claimant decides that you are actually right, or they just don't respond to your counterclaim in 30 days, in which case you win by default, the copyright notice is marked as resolved and you can go about your merry way making more content without nary a care in the world. But if the claimant disagrees with your counterclaim, well, it could end up in court, and no matter How many times people tell you that using footage from an online video is okay because it's fair use? Well, the actual law is more nuanced than that, so yeah, it can get messy. The other type of copyright notice is a takedown, which takes the form of YouTube contacting you, the creator, and going, yeah, someone's decided that you're infringing on their copyright and demand that you remove the video immediately. It has a more menacing older sibling notice, which translates to, yeah, no, we've already taken that video down because someone said you were going to sue. All of this, and the aforementioned copyright notice, is a kind of kludge that was put together to ensure that YouTube isn't sued for hosting copyrighted material, and also to ensure that copyright holders can keep their stuff safe. And while it is sometimes helpful, we've used it in the past, it can also be super destructive. Copyright claims are a little bit like the copyright light. You can fight them, and they don't really do much to your channel. Takedowns, though, they're bad. And if you get more than a certain number, I think it's currently 3, within a certain time frame, your channel just isn't given a rap across the fingers and told not to do it again, or you have your ad revenue taken. No, your channel is removed completely, lock, stock, and smoking barrel. And frankly, it doesn't matter if you're a new channel with a couple of subscribers to a channel of 10 years worth of videos and several million subscribers. The same fate awaits you. Digital death. Usually, copyright notices are automatic, issued by content matching bots. Takedowns are either automatic, some really large corporations use them, or they're manually done by a legal team, which is where Nikola and its takedowns come in. It appears that Nikola, or rather I believe its legal team, is issuing takedown notices against YouTube channels who have covered the allegations made against Nikola in recent weeks, and as a part of that have featured Nikola's now infamous B-roll of the Nikola 1 rolling down a hill. And those takedowns are not blanket enough to be the work of an automatic bot. I think that they are a person. I might add that this video, the one that Nikola is claiming as being copyrighted, is on various sites as the Nikola 1 in motion. It, as copyright owner of that video, has issued takedown notices against some of the more critical YouTubers who've questioned its business acumen. As a side here, I should note that everyone who's been targeted thus far seems to be in pretty much the same camp. They're either pro-Tesla channels who have been unashamedly honest about how they feel about Nikola's past and current actions, and they're also trading and stock market YouTube channels who've been similarly forthright in their opinions, and I'm guessing have been pretty harsh on how Nikola should be treated. So how exactly is Nikola claiming this B-roll as being copyrighted? Well, there's an interesting thing here. Naturally, I am not a copyright lawyer. I don't claim to be, but usually when a company makes media available on its website for members of the press, or YouTubers or vloggers to use, there's a license that's either actually displayed on screen or it's inherently implied. You're allowed to use their official footage for your videos, provided the video, of course, covers a news item about the company that provided the footage. I went on Nikola's website earlier today to look at its press portal, and in the assets section, there's a whole slew of videos available, some of which are hosted on YouTube, and they're all available as assets for the press to download and use, free of charge. Most of them we already actually have in our own B-roll library. But the Nikola 1 in motion video, that is nowhere to be seen. It's on YouTube, but Nikola has turned all the comments off. And I'm guessing its existence on YouTube is the way that Nikola is now issuing takedowns. A crawl of the Internet Archive, which, by the way, is an amazing tool that you should all try if you haven't already, shows that last year, Nikola had put its Nikola 1 sublink in the assets part of the press portal for the company. If I follow the link, I get an error message, which suggests that either the page crawl didn't exist, had been removed, or something else is weird going on. Regardless, at one point that video had an existence in the assets section of that website, and I'm reckoning that it was removed in May this year, based on what I can tell from the Internet Archive, which happens to be about the time that Bloomberg and Forbes, as well as several other news outlets, started to peel back the curtain on Nikola and its operations. I'm going to leave you to decide whether that's coincidental or not. To be clear, I cannot confirm 100% that the video being claimed as copyright was originally part of the press assets on Nikola's website, but I have it. And generally, we only go to press sites to download things. So I'm like 80% sure it was there. And that's very troubling. To take something that I'm pretty sure was available to the press and then go, no, sorry, you can't have that anymore, is one thing. It happens quite frequently. But to issue takedown notices based on copyright, that's something else. Which leads me to what I have spent all day doing, and it explains why there won't be a video tomorrow. Sorry. I'm going to be honest. All of the channels that I've seen who've had takedown notices against them issued from Nikola are not backwards in coming forwards with their negative opinions of the company. And I'm guessing that Nikola is doing everything it possibly can to save face right now. It issued a notice earlier saying that, you know, it was an error and they're going to be more careful in the future. But for those of us who cover the industry, this is a massive big red flag that's got us scared. Even the channels who've had their videos taken down, even if they're saying things which are false, issuing takedown notices is not the correct way to address that. It's frankly picking and targeting, and it is terrifying. So too is the fact that while all of this is going on, Nikola issued another press release today. It issued one yesterday about its future timeline, and it issued one today announcing a new member to its board of directors and its sponsorship of a feature on Politico. There was nothing, publicly at least, unless pushed by the press, in which case Nikola issued a statement about the silenced YouTubers. I have talked to several content creators today, all anonymously, all in the green tech sector, and they're all in the same boat, trying to make sure that nothing that they have collectively created as content features any of Nikola's B-roll, and that none of it is at risk of being taken down. As you'll remember, if you're a YouTuber, when you've had a certain number of takedown notices, it's game over. And for this channel certainly, we are a small business and we have staff and contractors that we have to pay, and we rely on the income from our YouTube channel to help pay bills. We bring in about 1/3 of our total income from YouTube, with Patreon providing another third, and the last third split between independent film work for private clients and providing content for a New Zealand energy company based off of the content we make on this channel. And to those who say that we're just making a noise and it doesn't cost anything to run a YouTube channel, well, you'd be right. You can start a YouTube channel for free and it doesn't cost much to make and edit and upload videos. But to create the volume of content we're doing with the quality that we do, that requires time and money, which is why I, as the channel owner and the boss, take stuff like this really freaking seriously. It's also, by the way, why I have, and I encourage all content creators online to have, an insurance policy designed specifically for broadcasters. It's not cheap, but it's a good safety blanket when companies with more money than you decide to take umbrage with your output. So, today we have gone through our entire YouTube catalogue of content, more than 1,200 videos if memory serves, and screened for footage of Nikola. Luckily, because most of our stuff is scripted, it wasn't as hard as it sounds to find the videos with Nikola content. But rather than remove those videos, we actually just used the YouTube blur tool and literally blurred out any B-roll content that had Nikola featured. And that includes stuff that I was sent by Nikola's PR team in the past, because, you know, I'm not going to risk this channel on someone changing their mind about what is okay to use or not. Sorry. For example then, if you go to look at last week's video that we used when we covered Nikola, you'll see that there is a blur. You'll still be able to hear me, but whenever there's video of a Nikola truck on screen, or Trevor Milton, or anything associated with Nikola, we've blurred it out. We think that's a proactive, safe thing to do, and frankly, we think it also means that we can keep our content up. Next, because we are a YouTube channel that is essentially news-based, we just can't pretend Nikola doesn't exist. We still have to provide content on it. And luckily, since we went to Nikola World last year to cover it firsthand, we have our own B-roll that we filmed at the event. B-roll that we have the rights to. B-roll that cannot be copyright claimed. And so, in the future, even though that footage is a little grainy and it was shot on our old Canon camera before we upgraded to our new current Blackmagic hotness, we will use that footage. And because we own it, Nikola cannot take it. Sorry, Nikola, that B-roll is ours. Finally, we're going to go through that footage, and after making sure there's nothing in there that can be copyright claimed, like stuff on the overhead screen, we're going to share it free of charge under Creative Commons 3.0 CC BY SA. It's not up yet, and it's not likely going to be available until the weekend or maybe next week. So please bear with us. We will share the link below. But suffice to say, if you are a legitimate YouTube channel wanting to cover Nikola and you're now worried about using Nikola's own provided footage, we have your back. As to Nikola, I am still furious. We're going to cover the company. We'll do it impartially. But any company seeking to be treated like a big grown-up company needs to be capable of taking criticism and praise in equal measure, as well as being capable of dealing with negative press that has its basis in documented, fair, thorough, evidence-based reporting. If you have got this far, thank you. This has been a hard video to make, and I know that not having B-roll, well, it didn't make it easy. But today, I really needed to make this video. That's it for today. As always, thanks to the folks on my right for being our $15 to $49 a month patrons. Special thanks to our $50 a month patrons, that's John Lyons, Regine Fellows and Jeffrey Songster, and our deepest gratitude to our $100 a month Patreon supporters, that's Marcel Ward, Reggie Watts, JP Fagerback and Sean Udea. You can join all of these amazing Patreon supporters and become one yourself by following the links below. You can also send us a donation through Ko-fi or Bitcoin, and you'll find a link to our free Discord server. So sign up and come and join in the fun. Chat to the team and other TE fans. And don't forget to check out our new t-shirts and other merch in our brand new Redbubble store. There's still time to buy stuff for Halloween. After the names have finished scrolling, you'll see a suggestion for a new video to watch from this channel, so please consider watching it if you haven't, and I will be back very soon. Thanks for joining me, and as always, keep evolving.